Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Welcome to the post-game edition of the Oilers-Leafs Saturday night hockey night in Canada matchup as the Oilers, again, for another game in a row as they have so many times this season, save everything they want to do in the hockey game until the third period. And let me tell you, this is something that is getting sickening at this point. Now I know it's one game. They were 8-1-2 entering tonight's action. That's fine. It's good. I'm not concerned. I don't think the Oilers are doomed by any means here by losing this game to the Toronto Maple Leafs. What I am upset with, what I am a little bit worried about, although we've seen the Oilers conquer it many, many times throughout the playoffs in the past 2 years, is the fact that you cannot choose to play about 22 minutes of a hockey game in the playoffs. And that's more or less what the Oilers chose to do tonight. They played a little bit of the later half of the second period and then chose to play 20 minutes in the third period, outscored the Leafs 3-1 in the third, and were able to, well, salvage a hockey game out of it, I guess you could say. So it's just sickening to see game in, game out, they don't learn that lesson that, hey, maybe we should play 60 minutes. Hey, maybe we should try at some point of any other period other than the third. And that's more or less really hum-ho, kind of who cares Saturday night loss against the Leafs, against an Eastern Conference opponent. Now you got to hope that obviously Calgary beats Vancouver tonight and Columbus beats Vegas. But at the end of the day, who cares about this game realistically speaking, other than the fact of the reason I'm upset is they need to learn this lesson, right? Is it going to take this game? Is it going to take game one of the playoffs as it does every single series for us to get ourselves in gear? I don't know, but at some point I'm getting real sick of watching the Oilers do the same thing, game in, game out, same script, play a really good first 3 minutes of the hockey game, don't care about the next 17 in the first, come lackadaisically in the second period, you might score a goal, you might tie it up, who cares, and then blow the barn doors off the game in the third period, and wow, that's the Oilers we know and love, right? So I'm getting a little tired of the same old script. I'd like to watch the Oilers come out, game in, game out, firing on all cylinders at the start of the game, maybe slow down midway through the second, gear up late in the second, go and blow it out in the third, right? We know this team can score 8 goals. And you know what, end of the day is, I'm not sitting here saying Toronto's a bad or good team, but we still scored 3 on them in less than 15 minutes of hockey tonight. So, come on, you're kidding me if we know this team can't be much better night in, night out than they are. Yes, they're great. They've got 42 victories on the year. They have only lost 21 games in regulation. They were 5-12-1 at one point, right? I guess what are you complaining about? But you gotta start playing a full effort. You gotta start caring about the hockey game start to finish. You can't, guys. I was having a rough day on Thursday, and that disingenuous almost effort from the Edmonton Oilers in that first period against Buffalo, and then what they did the rest of the way home, and then tonight through those first 2 periods, I mean lifeless, apathetic, lazy, disinterested, whatever you want to use to describe the Oilers in this first 40 of the game tonight against the Leafs. It was tough to watch. And then yes, of course, everybody's sitting here, right? Everybody knows it. Wait for that third period. We're down 5, but hold on. The Oilers are going for a ride, and that they did, of course, in the third period. They cut it to 5-3. They played the last 5-ish minutes of the hockey game without a goalie in the net and only got scored on once. Whip-dee-doo. We scored 2 goals with the net empty, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. I don't know. It all blends together at the end of the third period. I'm joking, of course, but it's just kind of tough, friends, to just night in, night out know that why even bother watching the first 2 periods? You know what? Should have went up, had those wings, had those matzo sticks, pigged out, had a Saturday night feast up in the kitchen, enjoyed the company at the house, came down here, watched the third period, streamed it with you, and we would all been better off for it, right? Silly. It's absolutely silly that there is no point in watching the Oilers in the first 2 periods of a game in which they're supposed to go win the Stanley Cup this year. right? And I'm not talking no point because it's going to be 0-0 after 2 and then they'll win the third 1-0. It's not the team. No. They'll be down 4-2 and going into the third period and then win 7-4, right? That's the kind of team we're talking about. And that is absolutely frustrating from my point of view. I'm sick of it. And I really don't know where everyone else sits on it because I know I've complained a lot about this season. But again, you start the way you do, you come roaring back the way you have. But throughout the whole roaring back, it's been the same old script. Most wins is lifeless for a period. Pulse starts coming back in the second, or else it gets worse in the second. Either it's Pulse is there in the first, lifeless in the second, flip-flop the first 2 periods, who cares? And then the third period is just this team is the best team in hockey in the entire world. So it's just gotten silly, and I'm really tired of it. I'm really hoping the Oilers learn a lesson. But friends, thanks again for being aboard for the live stream if you were this evening. Thanks again for being aboard here on Dolynny TV for the post game. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.